Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome Atkins Group to DKIT Virtual Career Series 2021, where today we're focusing on careers in the built environment. Atkins needs no introduction to DKIT. Indeed, they've been a great partner and have really strong connections with DKIT. Indeed, Martina herself attended DKIT, and last week we had Kevin McCabe, a DKIT graduate. So a great supporter of DKIT graduates and placement students. So I'd want to introduce you to Martina Finn. Martina is the Director of Infrastructure with Atkins Group. This series is in the form of presentation, but to make it as interactive as possible, I would ask that you pop some questions into the chat button or into the questions, and at the end of the presentation, we'll get a chance to ask those questions. And just also to let you know that Atkins have kindly given up their time as well to meet students one-to-one this afternoon. So from 2 to 3 this afternoon, Atkins will be available. They'll be facilitating one-to-one meetings with students and grads from 2 to 3 p.m. today. So you don't need to have anything prepared. You just log in and you can chat through maybe current roles or your CVs and what exactly that they are looking for. So without further ado, I'm going to pass you on to Martina now, and she will take you through Atkins and the jobs that are available and why one should work for Atkins. So Martina, over to you.
Okay, thanks very much, Joyce. I'll just click on to the.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hi, everybody. As Joyce said, my name is Martina Finn, and I'm the Director of Infrastructure for Atkins Ireland. I'm a graduate of DKT. Well, it was previously the RTC. I left with a higher diploma in civil engineering, and then I did my level 8 degree in the University of Ulster, Jordanstown. So I've worked in Northern Ireland, the UK, Australia. I've done projects in Africa, and then I moved back to Dublin in 2001. I've been with Atkins since and worked my way through from kind of project engineer now up to the Director of Infrastructure. And as Joyce said, we have very strong connections with DKIT, and I'm also the independent examiner for the level 8 civil engineering course. We obviously take a number of placements from interns, and obviously today then presenting to hopeful graduates, whether it's level 7 and level 8. We would provide training to bring graduates on to whatever level they're aspiring to be. So I'll just bring you through and tell you a bit about Atkins. We're a global organisation. We're owned by our mother company, SNC-Lavalin, who are based in Canada, and we have approximately 35,000 employees across the world. You can see this kind of the spread there, but obviously the Atkins core originated in the we have about over 200 employees on the south of the island, and then about another 70 to 80 in Belfast. So we have offices in Dundalk, Dublin, Cork and Galway, and instead there's just over 200 employees between those, and then another office in Belfast. And we were brought over by, it was McCarthy and Partners in the 90s, and Atkins took them over in 1999, and SNC-Lavalin then acquired Atkins in 2017, but we still very much trade as the Atkins brand. So I suppose just obviously our vision is to strive to be the premier engineering solutions partner, and we're committed to delivering complex projects from vision to reality for sustainable lifespan. And obviously our client focus and safety are of utmost importance. So the 4 pillars of Atkins are safety, integrity, collaboration, and innovation. We're very much at the forefront of digital innovations and transformations, which we try to bring to our projects in Ireland. So just to tell you a bit about Atkins in Ireland, we're a truly multidisciplinary team, and within my infrastructure division, we have an architectural team, civil engineers, structural engineers, environmental engineers, fire safety, geotechnical, health and safety, mechanical and electrical, environmentals there. And then under our sister company, Faithful and Gould, we have project management, quantity surveying, cost management. And then we have a large highways and transportation, which are the other half of the business from infrastructure, who do all the highways and transportation, rail, roads, and traffic and transportation. So that they're all of those disciplines are based across our offices in Ireland, and we work very much not on a regional basis, but and particularly with remote working, we work seamlessly across our offices in Ireland, and also we work on large global projects. So seamlessly again with our global technical centres in India, and also with our UK and Middle Eastern offices in particular. So this is just some of the clients that we work with. You'll see Ryan there. We've recently completed a training centre of excellence with them. You might have seen it in the media where it's a 50 million project where they've got 5 simulator flight simulators in it, and also a full airport fuselage for training up their staff. And this is just some of the awards we've won. We won Engineering Practice of the Year for 3 years in a row with the Irish Buildings Design Awards, and we've also won the Project of the Year in particular years as well. So just to tell you, we're IEI accredited CPD employer, and we've got accreditation for the next 3 years, and then we do it on a rolling basis. But basically, we've got a very, very structured CPD accreditation, and we've also got a very strong learning and development committee and team. So from a graduate engineer's point of view, we would have a graduate mentoring program. We've got various training and lunchtime learning and development presentations, and anything in relation to digital development. We're doing full BIM and digital rollout at the moment, but anything the graduate would need coming into the company, it'll be fully accredited with Engineers Ireland, and you'll get the full graduate mentorship, and a program will be set out for you. And also, obviously we have CPD that we need to fulfill every year, and we would ensure that all graduates and everybody in the company up to myself and our managing director Justin Norman will fulfill their CPD requirements. So just I suppose what Atkins are looking for, as I said, we're looking for graduates across all disciplines, so from civil engineering, fire safety, MEP, all disciplines and at all levels. So if it's certificate, diploma, so level 7, level 8, level 9, we're looking for graduates, and in all of our offices, so be it Dublin, Dundalk, Cork and Galway. And we've also, obviously with COVID, we've got flexible working, so you can be full-time in the office, or you can be 50% agility is what we're working towards at the moment, both to help people with their flexibility and also to make the offices more efficient and sustainable. So we're cutting down on things like energy requirements. So just some of the benefits of working with Atkins. We would have a competitive graduate salary, and that would be at least industry standard, if not slightly in excess. And we'd also always keep an eye on what the market and the industry are doing for graduates. We have 25 days holidays per year. We have flexible working along with that, and then also the 50% agile working. We have full contribution to the pension scheme, so the company doubles your contribution. We have a life assurance scheme. Professional membership fees are paid. The bike to work scheme. We have an employee wellbeing program, and we've got mental health first aid officers and a very strong employee assistance program. We've employee referral bounty scheme. So basically, if you came in and you recommended someone to us and we hired them, there would be a reward scheme there for you to benefit from. And we've got a very strong social club. So that's the image there is one of the hikes that the team did down in Kerry. But it can include things that involve alcohol and don't involve alcohol, and just generally, people getting to know each other. So in October, we're doing the walkathon, or October, I think it's called. We do, a bike month as well, and just various fun things during the year. So in terms of training, we have lots of in-house courses which are run by the Learning and Development Committee. We have an Atkins intranet where there's just a whole range of courses that people can avail of. So it can be very specialism engineering. So for example, we would have a one whole knowledge center for structural engineering, for bridge engineering, for example, and we would have champions who would guide us through it. We've knowledge centers, so there's a project management courses. So there's any amount, that can be accessed to our learning zone site, and then we have obviously external training and QSC courses. So basically, we would have people across the board in the company at the moment. Some are doing masters, some are doing MBAs, some are doing maybe we have one guy who's doing a level 7 at the moment. So just anything I suppose we would feel would benefit you, or you would feel would benefit, we're open to all sorts of training. So just to give you, I suppose, an overview of some of our projects that we're doing, you may or may not know. So this slide here shows just some of the projects that our highways and transportation team are doing or have completed. So on the top left, we have it's a new salmon weir bridge in Galway. The middle, we've got MCAS, which is full motorway maintenance and management of all the public network systems in the country. We've got the M7 exchange, the Sligo Western Distributor Road, Dunkettle interchange in Cork, which is going on at the moment. And then we do a number of greenways, so Fingal Way, I don't think Portmarnock's on there. So that's a selection of our road schemes. And then this is on the buildings team side. So as I mentioned earlier, we've got the full multidisciplinary team in-house in country. So this is just an example across the board of some of our projects. So on the top left, it's called a P fixation building on Ringsend Wastewater Treatment Plant. And that's the largest wastewater treatment plant, obviously, in the country. There's a massive extension going on for the population equivalent there at the moment. And this building is actually built to platform level at the moment. And then that's just, I suppose, a 3D of the steel frame. The next one is just one hub of a large data center that we're working on at the moment. And obviously the data center work is all highly confidential. The top right, we're doing a number of projects with DAA up at Dublin Airport. And this is just one of the smaller projects that we completed there about 3 weeks ago. The one below that, we do a number of logistics units and industrial buildings for the likes of Rowan Holdings and Dublin Port Company. So that's just an example there. And then on the bottom left, the Dubai Expo, it was supposed to happen in 2020, but it was launched there last week. So Dubai Expo 2020 is occurring at the moment over in Dubai, and Atkins, along with OPW, did the full multi-disc design of Ireland Pavilion for Dubai Expo. And then the Atkins site operations team carried out the site management and the site supervision when it went on site over in Dubai. So I suppose particularly with COVID, it was the first pavilion on the whole site that was completed successfully. And it just showed, I suppose, the great collaboration that can occur regardless of being in different countries and not being able to travel. So, with ourselves, the design team in Ireland, and with our Atkins site operations team, as I said, just it led to the successful delivery of that. And it will be, if any are interested, the Department of Foreign Affairs have an Ireland Expo website set up, and there's some fantastic presentations and programs going on for the full 6 months duration of the expo. So some of them are obviously on site and some of them are remote, so it'll be worth checking them out. And then in the bottom right is the Training Centre of Excellence that I mentioned that we just recently finished for Ryanair. This is just one of our Fingal, the Coastal Way, one of the greenways we've worked on. This is the Baldoyle to Portmarnock coastal walkway. This is Dublin Inland Port, so it's a large 14-hectare site up near Dublin Airport, and we are in the middle of finalising construction on 2 of the plots there. So it's logistics buildings and large container storage area. So it's essentially moving a lot of the port operations that are happening at the moment at Dublin Port up to Dublin Inland Port, to allow just more marine side works to happen on the port. And obviously some of the projects are very much Brexit related too. Speaking of Brexit, this was a front end project that we did for Dublin Port along with the OPW and a number of government state bodies. So when the first Brexit date came in of March 2020, we were under pressure. We had to get this project delivered. So essentially it was the new customs pass through for anything coming into Dublin Port, which we successfully completed on the 13th of March last year. This is just one of our social housing projects, Cork Northwest Quarter Regeneration, and this is the first phase of 4 phases that we're working on. This is a private developer mixed use and residential scheme. So at the moment within Atkins across the country, we've approximately 6,000 to 7,000 units, somewhere between planning and tender and in construction. That's just another one in Kinternan. And then this project here was part of a rapid build housing program. So essentially what you're seeing in the second picture is a fully built and fitted out ground floor of a house. And then the second floor, followed in straight after. But these units were built in a factory in Monaghan. And as I said, they were fully fitted with the kitchens, floor finishes, bathrooms, tiling, everything. So the only thing that had to be done when they got to site was put the outside brickwork and cladding panels and roofing on. And the houses, when they got to site, were then finished within a number of weeks. This is just an example. We do a lot of bridge maintenance and engineering works. So we're on the Airspan framework. And we're working on hundreds of bridge inspections around the country. This is a Circle K. So we did 3 motorway service areas with them. They were constructed finishing 2019 and 2020 in Athlone, Kilcullen and Gorey. So we did all of the civil and structural engineering for these and the mechanical and electrical. And obviously these sites were generally on not very good quality sites, so there was a lot of geotechnical, environmental related work for them. This is the Dubai Expo, so that's the photos I showed you earlier were the finished product, and this is just, I suppose, the vision before the project started. This is a new Ryanair headquarter building, so our offices, this is in Airside Retail Park, our offices are literally right behind that, and we completed that building in March last year, and we're about to start the fit out project for it. This is just a flight simulator building that we, one of the first projects we did with Ryanair. We've done a number of projects with them, both in Stansted, Milan, up at Dublin Airport, the new training centre in Santry, and then this was a flight simulator building which is tacked on to their existing office block. This is the new Kevin Street Garda headquarters in town. So we've got a double basement and a 5-story feature building. And it's built on what was a contaminated site and also adjacent to a number of protected structures. And it's in an architectural area of conservation. So challenging project, but it turned out really well. And that was with the OPW. This is just one of our motorway projects, the M7 widening. This is the M7, Carrickstown to Nina. The M50, which I'm sure you'll all be very familiar with, was one of the large schemes we did approximately 10 years ago. So it was a very complex scheme at the time. This is the N6 Galway to Ballinasloe scheme. And this is the military archives, which I was project director on. It was one of the 2016 commemorative projects for the 100 years of from 1916, and it was, I suppose, essentially collecting all the military archives that were scattered nationwide into one new building, and obviously it was opened by President Michael D. Higgins on the day. This is I suppose an unglamorous looking picture, but quite an important one. It's an upgrade to Mutton Island wastewater treatment works. So we upgraded from circa 90,000 population equivalent to 170,000 population equivalent, out on Mutton Island. So we actually won an award for that project of the year in 2017. As I mentioned before, the MCAS, we call it, it's the Motorway Maintenance and Contract Administration. So we've recently re-won 2 of the lots for singular supplier. So basically we manage and look after all of the motorway network across the country, and that can include anything from reaction to accidents or anything relating to maintenance and management of the maintenance contractors who do the work. So basically they keep the motorways flowing at all times of the year, and whatever challenges with weather or accidents or so forth. You might know this is a Dundalk Driver Test Centre building that we finished approximately a year and a half ago, and it's a bit futuristic looking, but a nice little project. This is the Belfast Sewers project. So this is just one of the chambers connecting down into the tunnel, but essentially it went all the way through Belfast, and it was a colossal project. I don't know if any of you follow Top Gear, but James May drove a Mini down through the tunnel once it was complete. So this is, we do a lot of airport work. So at the moment we're doing a new overlay on Cork Airport, and this is the similar project that we did for Knock Airport resurfacing. So that's opening day. They were all obviously very happy, and it was opened by Leo Varadkar, who's Taoiseach at the time. So just a very quick glance at around the world. This is London 2020 Olympic Games. So Atkins were, I suppose, the sponsoring engineer, but the Ireland team did a significant amount of work on this project. We were involved in helping with the design of over 1,000 temporary structures. And the week before the Olympics opened, we had a team of engineers from Ireland over inspecting them on site, and obviously they got to see a lot of the athletes training and so forth. But it was a very exciting project at a time when we were coming out of the recession, and projects were difficult in Ireland. So it was great to have our, I suppose, global organization that we could call on to keep our teams busy. This is Crossrail in London, and it's essentially taken a whole new tunnel system from the east of London all the way out to Reading and Heathrow. So it's just absolutely colossal. This is the upgrade of Birmingham New Street train station. High Speed 2, which is again probably the biggest project in the UK at the moment, and it's a new high speed line from London all the way up to Edinburgh and Glasgow, and taking in cities like Manchester and Leeds on the way. This is the Burj Al Arab that Atkins designed, and it's, I suppose, the almost like the flagship sign for Dubai. And I had the pleasure of working out in our Atkins Dubai office myself a number of years ago. This is Dubai Opera House, which our fire safety engineer lead in Dublin worked on. And this is Jeddah Airport. So we had teams at the time working on this both in Dublin and also over in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. So there's the opportunity, I suppose, with Atkins to, if you wanted to do a secondment to the UK or to the Middle East, or wherever, the Far East, America or Canada, and you can go between disciplines, or you can also go between locations. So just then to finish and let you know how you can apply to Atkins, you can send your CV to careers.ireland@atkinsglobal.com, and then also you can obviously check out our website. So we have a website for Atkins Ireland and then a website for Atkins Global. So the details are there. So thank you very much. And if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Thank you so much, Martina. That's a bit of feedback. Sorry, if you just put your mic on mute. Great. Thank you very much, Martina. What an impressive company, and such a huge client base around the world. And I suppose it's great to hear that you take students from all disciplines, from level 7, level 8, level 9. And there also seems to be great emphasis on training and continuous professional development within Atkins, which is great. For our students that are live now and watching back on demand, what would you say would make a graduate stand out? What needs to be on their CV or cover letter that would make them different and make them stand out for Atkins?
I suppose in terms of obviously, listing your subjects, but the discipline that you would wish to, go into, and maybe, why you would want to go into that discipline, because obviously some people will come out with maybe civil engineering, but might want to go into highways and transportation or traffic, which is a specialism on itself. And obviously, yeah, maybe your grades will show the interest in those. So yeah.
Excellent. Okay, and you take from architectural technology, construction management, building surveying, and then obviously the engineering as well,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. And then the application process itself. Sometimes some companies can have big assessment centers, and there might be group meetings or interviews. What is the actual process with Atkins?
Yeah, if you send your CV into careers.ireland@atkinsglobal.com, we would then do an assessment process. Now, obviously, we've got such strong links with DKIT. Some CVs might come in direct through the likes of Gareth Kelly or others, and obviously students are, if they've maybe met or spoken to any of ourselves, they're also welcome to send CVs into us. But if it goes into the central system, it'll be sent out to the relevant leads who would need to see it.
Okay, great.
And then after that, I suppose in terms of graduates, we appreciate that maybe graduates will either have no or very limited experience. So we don't judge harshly on that. As long as, we'll generally have, and we try to make it an informal, I'll call it interview, but chat and discussion, just for us to outline, what would happen if you come in to work with Atkins, how you would be supported. Because obviously we all know when we finish college, we don't fully maybe know what we want to go into. Or, some might, or then they might go into a company like Atkins and say, well, you know what, I actually really want to try out water engineering or traffic and transport engineering. So
that's fantastic. And you mentioned yourself, you worked in Dubai. I see a question coming in there as well. Are there opportunities for staff to travel within Atkins?
Absolutely. Yeah, and listen, we all lived through the downturn, and we were over and back to the Middle East. I would be over and back to, or would have been over and back to the UK, less so now. But essentially, we've had a guy recently return from working in the US. So global travel is very much part of it if you want it. Nobody ever forces you to do it, but it's always. I find now, my couple of months in the Middle East, and then really, because the projects there and the scale of them that you work on, you won't get those in Ireland.
Yeah, absolutely huge projects that you're working on, which is absolutely amazing. And I just do want to remind again the students that are on now and watching back in demand, you will have the opportunity to speak with one-to-one later this afternoon from 2 to 3. So we have got Peter Finnegan, senior structural engineer, and Liam Dullahan, who's a senior civil water engineer, and they will be online. So the link is in the chat function there. So again, you can chat one-on-one to somebody in Atkins as well. So really, Martina and Atkins, I really want to thank you for taking the time. And we're lovely to welcome you here virtually, and we just can't wait to welcome you back here on campus when we have the options to do so. So you can meet our students and lecturers and heads of departments in person. But once again, thank you so much for coming online today, and graduates and students out there, log on. What a fantastic company to work for, Atkins. Thank you very much,
Yeah, thanks
Martina.
very much. Our pleasure.
Okay, take care.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.